Welcome to the Elevate Your Online Business podcast. I'm your host, Latisse Hudson, and in 2018, I quit my corporate job, launched my coaching business, and in less than 1 year, I hit the six-figure mark. And now I'm here to help you do it too. So each week on the podcast, I'm going to share all things money, mindset, and online marketing so you can reach more people, make more money, and do what you love from the comfort of anywhere in the world. Sit back, relax, grab your favorite drink, and enjoy the show. It's your time to elevate. Hey y'all, welcome back. My name's Latisse and I'm your host, and I'm real excited today to talk to y'all about how you can triple your income. So I want y'all to recognize that I literally took my business in 2020 from, we were doing like $20,000 to $30,000 a month to nearly $100,000 a month within 1 month, right? We literally tripled our income overnight. So I want to share with y'all how we did it. And it wasn't by chance. It wasn't by guessing. It was because I took aligned action. And we're going to talk about, I got this idea from my friend Katie, but I was listening to her and I kind of talk a lot, and she helps people with courses, and I obviously help people sell their group coaching programs, and we have a lot of overlap and a lot of things are similar. And we kind of talked about like our journeys and like us growing our income, and I was really like, oh my gosh, girl, we're literally on the same wavelength. So it's so nice to have friends that are at that level that just get it, because so many people don't. So if you don't have a support system, y'all, you definitely need to get people in your corner that want to grow their income, that want to scale their business, that want to take massive action. Because at the end of the day, if you are not in the right environment, I don't care what anybody says, it's going to be extremely difficult to succeed. That's part of why when I packed up all my stuff in 2019, pretty much sold everything that I had, I just took myself in my Jeep and I moved to Arizona, because I knew that gloomy and depressing weather was not for me. And there's no coincidence that my entire life changed after taking radical action. So let's dig in and let's kind of talk about, the actual steps. There's going to be 3 steps that I'm going to give y'all today that you're going to need to take to triple your income, double your income, quadruple your income, really to just grow your income. I say triple because that's what we did, but I want to share with y'all how you can do it, and also how we're going to be working on getting back to this so we can triple our income again and again and again. So the first thing that you really need to do when you're looking at where you're at inside of your business is you need to look at like what's actually happening, what's going on, how much money are you bringing in, what are your numbers. I talked to so many business owners, and raising my hand, fair warning, for a really long time, I did not know my numbers because I just wanted to act like everything was okay. And here's the thing with that, y'all. You have to be willing to get in the trenches and get in the dirt. And I know like a lot of us are not numbers people. Just because you're in business doesn't mean you're a numbers person, but you need to become that person, okay? So you have to know your numbers. This is actually precursor to the 3 steps I'm going to share with y'all. But I didn't have this in my notes for today, but as I'm recording this podcast, but you need to know your numbers, period, right? So you need to know, and I'll give you some baseline numbers that you need to know going into deciding that you're going to triple your income, okay? So you need to know how much revenue you're bringing in, right? You need to know what your sales are. So when I say sales, that's like top line. That's, say you have a program that's $5,000, that's the sales amount. That's the revenue. Okay. So that number is important, but I would say arguably the most important number, in my opinion, is how much cash you're actually bringing in the door. Okay. So when you get paid, say somebody pays you in full $5,000, you don't actually collect all that $5,000. There's going to be taxes, there's going to be operating expenses, right? And you want to know how much cash is coming in the door every single month. So before we count actually all the expenses and all the taxes, how much are you actually taking home out of that $5,000 that's coming into the bank? So for us, I don't know the exact number if somebody paid us $5,000, but usually based off your payment processor, it's usually about a 2.9% fee plus like 30 cents that you're going to pay. I think that's the fee for Stripe and Wave. Those are the main payment processes that we use. It's usually about 2.9%. So you need to know how much cash is coming through the door every single day, every single week, every single month. Okay. Because when you know how much cash is coming in the door, you can make decisions. You can make decisions to hire, to invest, to do all the things. But if you don't know how much cash is coming in, it's going to be really difficult to make those big decisions that you need to make. So I'm not going to get too in depth on that. We'll have a financial expert come in on the podcast soon and kind of break it down a lot further. But like, you need to know your revenue. You need to know the cash that's coming in the door. You also need to know how much, what your tax bracket is, depending on how much revenue you made. So obviously talk to your CPA. I'm not a CPA, but make sure if you don't have a CPA, you need to have a CPA if you're in business. Okay. I didn't have a CPA the first 9 months I was in business, but I quickly knew that if I wanted to scale this thing, I needed to have a tax professional, a CPA on my board of directors, on my team, because I was not treating my business I didn't want my business to be a hobby. It needed to be a business. Okay. So I'm going to, focus on talking about, when I talk in numbers, I talk in sales, like revenue, and then I talk in cash. Okay. So money that's hitting the bank is your cash. Okay. So that's just a brief overview. You need to know your numbers. Bottom line, you need to know how much is going out of your business every month, how much is coming in. We use Bench accounting. Bench is amazing. I will drop it in the show notes, our affiliate link. You don't have to use it if you don't want, but, we pay around $200 something a month, and we get spreadsheets and reports, and it's beautiful. And they automatically collect, they set up all the systems, all the things, and they collect our bank accounts, they collect our PayPal, our Stripe, and all of that. And it's just magical. And then we also have, so that's our bookkeeper service that we use. And then we also have a CPA here in our local city and state. So if you don't have somebody local for your taxes, that you need somebody local, because they're going to know the different tax advantages and laws that are in your city and state that somebody out of state may not know. And you could be actually losing a lot of money trying to go with some online CPA or whatever that doesn't live in your state. So that's something that I learned from my coach, Mariah, and I really highly recommend that you have somebody in your state. Okay, so we've talked about numbers. That's really important. Now let's kind of talk about the 3 things that I shared earlier that you really need to do in order to triple your income moving forward. So the first thing is that you need to decide, okay? I know that sounds really basic and simple, but you need to decide. You need to decide that you want to grow your income. It's crazy, but so many people say they want to grow their income, but they don't actually snap in the moment, make a decision that they're going to grow their income. So there's 2 parts of this when I say decide, okay? It's an actual decision that it's possible for you. That's the first step of decide. There's 2 parts to decide. You have to decide that it's actually possible for you. You have to affirm that it's possible for you. You have to show yourself that it's possible. Even if in your reality right now, the tripled income is not in your bank account, you have to start showing up as a person that has tripled income, right? So you have to decide in this moment that it is possible for you and that it's in reach for you, okay? Because so often we say that we decide, but then we show up or not show up. We talk the talk, but don't walk the walk, right? We don't actually take the action that we need to take, right? We say one thing to one person and then we shrink when we say it to somebody else. I can't tell you how many times I talk to people and I'm like, okay, what's your income goal for the year? They're like, oh, I would like to make, maybe $100,000 this year. Like, does that sound confident to you? No. So when I talk about being decisive and deciding that you're going to triple your income, you got to raise your shoulders. You got to sit up. You got to you have to decide, right? You have to have a swagger, a confidence about yourself that you're going to hit your income goal, right? I tell people all the time, right? Our goal in 2021 is $1 million in cash, period. And I've been saying that for a long ass time. Okay. And I keep saying, and I say it to myself pretty much every single day. Okay. And I want you to recognize making a decision means that anything else in your environment, anything else in your network, anything else circumstantial in front of your face, right, is not going to waver you from your decision that you've made, right? And it's not that you get to go back and forth on your decision. You make a decision and you stick with it, period. Okay. So often I see people get so caught up in what everybody else is doing and thinking that it's not possible for them. They get shiny object syndrome and they're out just chasing the next thing and not actually doing the thing that they've decided on because they never actually made the shift in their mind. Okay, so we've got to get a hold of our mind. We've got to get a hold of our belief system, and we've got to decide that tripling our income is possible. Okay, and I want you to ask yourself this question if you're really struggling with belief right now. The amount of income that you want to make, right? So say you're making, to make it simple, say you're making $50,000 right now, right, in your business per year, and now you need to make, but what is that, $200,000, right? Ask yourself, is there somebody in your industry making $200,000? Yes, there is. 100%. There is. So if it happened for them, why can't it happen for you? And that's the question that you need to ask yourself every time you start to waver, every time that you start to rock. You have to ask yourself, is there somebody already doing what I want to do? Cool. It's game time. Let's go. All right. So you've got to decide that it's possible for you. Now, the second thing to decide, y'all, is that it has to be non-negotiable. You have to make a decision that your goals, the goal to triple your income, is non-negotiable, period. Right? And we kind of touched on that just a second ago, but this is deeper. This is saying no matter what, no matter how it's going to happen, no matter who I need to support me with it, it's going to happen. Right? And it's non-negotiable. We need to stop making our goals, right, a maybe, or maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. It has to be non-negotiable. Just like you get up out of bed every day, just like you brush your teeth every day, just like you take a shower every day, that's non-negotiable, right? I don't get up and say, I guess maybe I'll brush my teeth, maybe I won't, we'll see. Hell no, I'm brushing my teeth every day. So it's the same thing with your business, right? And we have to take these micro decisions to make these bigger decisions. And we have to decide that it's non-negotiable that we hit our goals, right? We show up for everybody else. We show up for our family. We show up for our partners. We show up for our kids. We show up for our clients, right? The clients that we do have. So how about we show up for ourselves and make it non-negotiable that we hit our goals, period. When I think about making it non-negotiable, it's if somebody is, and I use this example often, but if somebody is like, hey girl, let's go to brunch, and you already had a meeting scheduled, right, to talk to a client, you're not going to, or a potential client, you're not going to cancel that potential meeting to go to brunch with your friends, right? So it's all about making the small sacrifices for the greater gain. Now, this is not to say to sacrifice and not have any fun and not go to brunch. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that you have to really take a good look at where you're at and draw the line to where you want to be and not let anything or anyone or any excuse come in between. So often I see people stuck wanting to make more money, right? Wanting to grow their business, but there's excuses about, oh, I can't make an investment. Oh, I can't figure it out. Oh, I don't know how to get clients. Oh, I don't know how to make more money, right? And I see this often, right? And we get into this cycle of excuses, right? And then we make our goals and dreams non-negotiable. The beautiful thing about being a human being is that we have choice, right? No other animal on this planet has the ability to make a decision, right? Or to have choice. We have the ability to choose. So every single day that we wake up, we can choose our dreams. We can choose to go to the gym. We can choose to eat the right things. We can choose to move our bodies. We can choose to talk to more people. We can choose to get on sales calls. We can choose to send DMs. We can choose to put up our funnels. We can choose to show up. But every day that you choose otherwise, you're slapping future you in the face. That's exactly what you're doing. You're slapping future you in the face. And I'm not here for it. And you shouldn't be either. So you've got to make your dreams non-negotiable. And so often, y'all, when I talk to women inside of my containers or women that are thinking about joining our Elevate to Success program or our Social Selling Society program or whatever, it's like, oh, I got to talk to my partner. They may not be on board. This is what that tells me often, right? Is that you are not loud enough about your goals. That you are not loud enough about your goals. And I want you to get loud about it. And I want you to be bold about it. And I want you to not settle for mediocre. I don't want you to settle for that. Because as women, we already carry so much weight for so many people. We show up for everybody all the time. But when it comes to our goals, we're like, I'll think about it. I would like it, but I'll think about it. No, you were not given that goal to just think about it. You were given that goal to take action. Okay. So when I think about deciding that you want to triple your income, double your income, whatever, get more clients, make more money, it's a split decision. It's a decision to get up and do it, right? Just like it's a decision that if you want to change your lifestyle to be a healthier lifestyle, to work out, people always ask like, what was the light bulb moment? The light bulb moment was that I was tired of living a certain way. Right? For anything in my life, whether it was not making the money that I wanted, not having the body that I wanted, not having the relationship that I wanted. It was that I was just sick and tired of living that way. And I knew that I had more in me. But it started with a decision that I had to make. Nobody else. Your mom, your dad, your partner, your spouse, your kids, your best friend cannot make that decision for you. You have to make that decision, okay? And it has to be non-negotiable. The second thing when I think about tripling your income is you got to make a plan, okay? We literally... And I want to caveat this, right? If anybody is the messy action taker, it's Latisse. As much as I got diagnosed from my partner with what did he say? He said, like, you're an undiagnosed perfectionist. Because I never identified with the word perfectionism. I was like, oh God, I'm not a perfectionist. Oh no. I always said I was not a perfectionist. But comes behold, like in the micro things I was. In the bigger things I was. So I'm not saying that, what I'm trying to say here actually is when I think about making a plan to triple your income, it doesn't have to be perfect. That's what I'm trying to say. And we're going to talk about what that plan actually needs to look like. But it does not have to be perfect. Okay, so I want to caveat that it does not have to be perfect. So if you got notes out right now, listening to me, write down it doesn't have to be perfect at the top of your paper or on your notes section in your phone as you're taking notes. Now, when we think about making a plan though, it can absolutely be messy, right? But it needs to have some type of structure to it. So I'm going to kind of break down what we're doing in our own business to triple, quadruple, 10x our income right now and what you need to be doing inside of yours as well. The first thing is when I think about making a plan is really deciding who it is that's in my $10 million version of me, okay? So the $10 million version of me works with people that are ready. People that are not making excuses for themselves. People that know that making investments is going to yield them an ROI in all ways, not just financially, right? But an ROI in their relationships, in their life, and how they show up in the world. Okay. So it's looking at that person that is the perfect fit. Okay. The beautiful thing is, as we start to work with people in our higher level containers, you get to decide who works with you. As much as you think you don't, you really do. Okay, so when I'm sitting down making this plan of thinking about, Latisse, how do you want to show up for your company at the $10 million version, the 8-figure version, okay? And it's saying, I want to work with higher level people that are ready and not wavering on working with people and just, trying to be Captain Save-A-Ho. We're not Captain Save-A-Ho no more, okay? At the multiple 6-figure version, yeah, we're trying to save a lot of people. But I'm not here for that anymore. And neither is my vision. So when I'm making this plan, the curriculum, how I show up, the events, the programs that I create, it's all for a higher level version. It's about speaking to that highest level client, right? And my content and my curriculum and my programs and my events and this podcast and my Facebook group. No longer speaking to the person that's not ready, right? Because at the end of the day, we're never going to truly feel ready, but you have to, again, it's back to making a decision. You have to decide that you're ready no matter what, period. Okay. So when I think about making a plan, the first step of making that plan is deciding and being congruent with the offers that I'm creating and how I'm showing up and how I'm speaking to my people. No longer being Captain Save-A-Ho for the people that aren't deciding that they're ready. That's not my place anymore, okay? That may be another coach's place or somebody else, but it's not my place anymore to help somebody decide if they're ready or not. My place is to take the people that are ready to the next level, period. So making our plan to 10x our income right now is working with the people, the clients, the students, the human beings that are ready despite their circumstances. Because we all got circumstances, right? I'm always like, what else you got? We all got them, okay? So the first part of your plan is deciding who's that higher level person that you want to speak to, and also recognizing that there are going to be other people that you could work with. Right now, if you're brand new, absolutely. Like, you need to get your feet wet. You need to be working with different people for sure. But you still need to elevate your mindset in that as you grow and expand. So the plan is, that's the first part of the plan, right? You've got to elevate who you're speaking to and decide and be unwavering in that. The second part of the plan is like looking at from a tactical perspective, like how are we going to nurture our people at a very high level? Okay. So part of that plan was launching this podcast, right? Part of that plan was launching this podcast because I knew the people that I truly desire to work with and that I have in my containers now, that I want to continue to have in my containers now, want to continuously grow. Okay. So they're going to be seeking out expert leadership. They're going to be seeking out expert mentorship, right? In all types of ways. So starting this podcast was like, yo, how can I reach more people? And how can I do it in an effective way where my message doesn't die, right? I love my Facebook group. I love Facebook. I love Instagram. But my podcast is the future. My podcast and my blog on my website and my YouTube channel, it's evergreen content, right? So it's content that is not going to die like it kind of does in a Facebook group. Does, but it doesn't in a Facebook group. Okay? My podcast, nobody can take that away from me, right? So it's claiming and taking up more space and showing up for my people powerfully and letting my message be heard for years and years to come. So when I think about reaching more people, that's a huge reason why we started the podcast, because I was like, yo, I have a message, I got a voice, and people need to hear it, period. So part of that plan to triple and 10x our income, right, is to take up more space in places that it actually is going to last. Okay. If you're brand new, I don't necessarily recommend you starting a podcast. That's not what I teach to my students in Social Selling Society. That's not what we teach. We don't teach to start a podcast, right? We teach you to get in, get your clients, tell people what you do, how you do it, show up for them powerfully, and build authentic relationships. That's what we teach, and how to have conversations that convert. But my clients in the accelerator, right, as we are rolling out actually a great new curriculum right now, right, it's looking at how can we, in our Elevate Mastermind, it's like, how can we have our message go further and go faster, right? So part of the plan, as we're 10xing our income, mapping out the $10 million version of us as a company, it's looking at how can our message go further. Now, when I think about the last part of the plan, the biggest part of the plan is thinking about how can we continuously drive more traffic, right? So the podcast is a great place to get nurtured. I don't think when we think about the podcast, a part of the plan, a part of the growth strategy, it's a place where we nurture people. It's not a place where I'm looking to get traffic from necessarily, right? We use our other mediums to drive traffic to the podcast. Okay. The other mediums, right? When I think about the third part of the plan, is getting more traffic and getting in front of more people, right? Because when you think about the podcast is where our people that love Latisse and love what we're doing and love how we show up, that's where they go. But we've got to get more people into that ecosystem. So when I think about traffic, what we're doing now as we scale, right? Because we are in hyper scale mode, is looking at how to diversify our ad spend outside of just Facebook ads, okay? I love Facebook ads. It changed the trajectory of my life and my business. Love Facebook ads, and I still think it's the best platform to advertise on. But I also recognize that there are people in other places that need to hear what I have to say, and that need my support, and that want to get to the next level as a coach and want to make more money. Today's episode is sponsored by our signature group coaching program. Coaches tell me all the time, I'm ready for freedom in my coaching business. One-to-one coaching has been fun, but I'm ready for what's next. While there is a time and a place for courses in one-to-one coaching, when you're looking to scale past those coveted 10K months, an evergreen group coaching program is absolutely necessary. When I launched my evergreen group coaching program in 2019, it literally changed my entire life and business. Why? Because I was no longer capped on time. I took my expertise, packaged it up, and sold it one to many every single day of the week. I finally got the real freedom that I've been looking for, and the bank account too. This new way of coaching created massive leverage and massive impact. If you're anything like me, your freedom and impact is non-negotiable. This is exactly why I want to invite you to apply for the Elevate to Success Accelerator Group Coaching Program. Just for applying, I also want to send you over a free exclusive advanced training I recently created about the 3-part framework to consistent 5 to 6 figure months, attract clients on autopilot, and create a business that you truly love. It's for you, even if you have a small audience of never sold group coaching before. It takes just 2 minutes to apply. Head on over to www.latissehudson.com/apply to get all the details. So what we're doing inside of our plan is we are adding on 4 new platforms for advertisement, okay? So I'll list off those 4 really quickly and kind of explain why it's so important to diversify your ad spend as you're scaling your business. The first platform that we're jumping onto is YouTube ads. Our YouTube ads are going to be going live here in just a few weeks. Super pumped. Video is by far my favorite way to show up. As I'm recording this podcast right now, I'm actually on Facebook Live, right? But video is I wouldn't say it. Actually, I'll take that back. Maybe it's not my favorite place to show up, but it's the place that I feel the most comfortable because I've been doing it the longest, is showing up on video. So we're taking our mouth to YouTube, because YouTube is a search engine, right? People show up to YouTube looking for something, looking for answers. They're searching for something very specific. Okay, so now we can take very targeted interest on YouTube and target the exact people that are searching for how to make money as a coach, how to start a life coaching business, how to create a group coaching program, right? Funnels, ads, all the things that we teach inside of our programs, right? How to get clients. Now I can take that and target those exact people on YouTube. It's very targeted. Once you get it down right, it's extremely targeted, right? It's actually probably a little bit more accurate than, it actually is more accurate than Facebook. It's just the ad spend costs are a little bit higher on YouTube. So that's the next platform that we're expanding to. The next platform after that, we're expanding into Pinterest ads. Okay, so Pinterest ads, we're going to be using Pinterest ads specifically to drive traffic to our podcast and our Facebook group. Okay, so Pinterest is really great to get people to go take actions, right? And not necessarily for high ticket funnels. It's not the best place, but for funnels where you're getting people to go get more nurtured, like driving to a podcast or, to a Facebook group or a lead magnet, something for free, it's an amazing place. So that's the next place that we're expanding is Pinterest, right? Pinterest is growing year after year after year, and coaches actually are not taking up the space over there as much as they could. So we're putting our hand in the fire over there, and we're going to be growing on Pinterest. The next platform is Google Ads. Okay. So, when you search something on Google, you see ads come up at the top, right? We're going to start targeting different keywords. We have a whole strategy behind it, but we are going to be targeting tons of different keywords to get people to watch our mini course, right? Our mini course that gets people into, to apply to one of our programs, right? Whether it's Elevate to Success or Social Selling Society, right? So it's getting people to watch our mini course to get people to take that next step, okay? And then just being everywhere, all over the internet, right? Y'all gonna be like, dang, Latisse, like, where you everywhere? Yep, exactly, right? I'm gonna be omnipresent, and I'm really excited. And then the last place that we're expanding, and it's going to be a few months out, but we will be expanding over to LinkedIn. There is such a huge opportunity on LinkedIn as well. It's a bit more complicated platform to learn as far as ads, but we're working with an agency who's like rolling out all of this. I run our Facebook ads. I know some people ask like, who does your ads? They're so good. I run all of our Facebook ads and probably will not be outsourcing that anytime soon. I thought I wanted to, but decided that I didn't want to anymore, because it's so cool to be like, I can control like our traffic. It's so awesome. So I do run all of our Facebook ads. I've been doing ads for a couple of years. I adore them. So yes, the last platform that we're going to be expanding is to LinkedIn. Okay. And LinkedIn, honestly, don't even know the whole strategy behind LinkedIn yet because we're not there yet, but it is the fourth platform that we're going to be expanding to. So we're going to be advertising on 5 different platforms. Okay. So here's the caveat I want to share with y'all about starting to try to branch out to different platforms to run ads and all of this. If you're brand new and you're not making 6 figures yet in your business, I do not think you should be running ads, right? Unless you have way more money than you have time. Okay. And if you have more money to put into systems that can do some of the heavy lifting for you, and you have a proven like lead magnet or funnel, then yeah, all the way. But you have to recognize that, and a lot of people get so scared with ads, you just have to make a mindset shift. You have to know that you may and you probably will lose money at the beginning if you don't have a proven offer, a proven funnel, right? Technically, because you could have a funnel that works well on organic, but when you put it on ads, it bombs, right? Because speaking to a warm audience versus cold audience is very different, okay? So I need y'all to recognize that running ads is amplifying what's already working. It's not going to put a band-aid over a funnel that doesn't work or an offer that doesn't convert. Okay. So it's something that I'm really passionate about. A lot of people are like, well, how can I get more traffic? You have to probably run paid advertisement, period. Right. Unless you want to spend like years trying to build an organic audience, right? It doesn't take years, right? We've built our audience pretty quickly over the last couple of years, but building an organic audience takes more time. Right? And when you're just starting, absolutely, you need to be building an organic audience, okay? I'm not one of those coaches that's like, oh my gosh, you should have only organic or only paid. Paid amplifying the organic work that you're already doing, whew, like it's a game changer, okay? So I want you to recognize that paid traffic is going to get you to your goals, your higher level goals, extremely, like much more faster. Okay. So part of the plan, just to kind of wrap that up, is, when we look at it's deciding who we want to work with, who's our highest level client. The second thing is having a source where you can truly nurture your people. So the podcast, YouTube, all those things for us, that's more evergreen when you're thinking about tripling and 10xing your income. And then the third part is having a diversifying your traffic. So right now, if you're at 6 figures and you're like, how can I get to multiple 6 figures, right? Then I would tell you to start with Facebook ads. You need to start with Facebook ads. And then if you're at like high multiple 6 figures looking to get to 7, 8 figures, then you need to branch out of just Facebook ads, right? And that's kind of the levels that we look at. So when I think about that, it's all about having a plan behind the goals and the desires and the vision, period. Okay. And I know that may sound like a lot, but it's really not, right? Because when you start to have a team in place, when you're growing your business and all of the great things, you have time as a CEO to think about that. And some of you may not be there yet, and that's okay, but you need to plan where you're at. So if you're at 6 figures or you're just starting out, right, you need a plan to get into, to start talking to more people, whether that's getting into Facebook groups, whether that's, maybe starting an organic Pinterest account, TikTok, whatever. You need to decide how you're going to get in front of more people without having to waste money, because I don't want you to waste money at the beginning. Okay. So that's plan. The last part of how we're looking at tripling our income and how you can do this as well is you got to take action now. Right? So it's decide, it's plan, and now you have to take action. And the action that you have to take has to be incongruent with your goals, period. Okay. So when I think about all the things I just listed off a part of the plan, now I have to put pen to paper, get my team involved and say, hey, okay, let's create a plan for how we're going to, we obviously have a plan on the podcast, but depending on where you're at, like if you want to launch a podcast, what's the plan? Right? What are the steps? Do you need to hire a podcast manager, an editor? Do you need to hire somebody to write your show notes? Right? Do you need to revamp your curriculum in your existing program? Do you need to create a new program? Okay. Do you need to hire an agency to help you run ads? Do you need to hire a strategist to help you strategize your new funnels? It's making a plan to take action, right? And taking the action happens every single day, right? We're not, I see so many people are like, I want a 4-hour work week. No, you don't. Because if you have goals to make $500,000, $1 million, right? You've got to put in the time. And I actually find that as we've grown our income, I actually work less. Okay. Because I have a team that can support me, but it didn't start that way. And there's levels to this, y'all. So no matter where you're at, this is going to work. So you may not be diversifying your ads yet, but you may be getting on a second primary platform for organic traffic. You may be creating a new lead magnet, right? There's so many different things that you can do at every level to triple your income. And when I think about this last piece of taking action, it's putting it on your calendar. It's making the action non-negotiable. It's telling the people that are in your ecosystem, hey, I've got this going on today, right? And I'm unable to make it. That's not a part of my game plan, right? And it's putting it on your calendar every single day. It's been a game changer since I've really started using Google Calendar the last year, like consistently. It's been a complete game changer, okay? I know some of y'all like pen and paper. I love pen and paper too to write out like to-do lists and stuff. But as far as the big picture strategy, like we use Asana for project management and task management. And then we have a company internal Google Calendar, and then we each have our own private Google Calendars, right? And that's shareable throughout the organization with my team. Okay, so it's getting really organized and deciding like, is every action on my calendar congruent with my vision, congruent with me tripling my income? Is it congruent with my goals? Is it congruent with how I want to show up for my clients? And if it's not, then it needs to be off of your to-do list. It needs to be off your calendar. And this isn't about checking off a to-do list, right? I want to make that very clear. This is not what taking action means. This is about making sure that the things that you are taking action on is congruent, because it could be one big action, right? But that one big action could change the trajectory of your income. It could add $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 to your bottom line. So as a CEO, even if you're brand new, you do not need to be playing around in Canva, right? And I'm guilty of it too, right? Let me just raise my hand. I am guilty of it too. But the thing is like you need to spend your time on revenue producing activities, period, right? So that's talking to people. That's doing live videos. That's running ads, whatever that looks like for whatever stage in business that you are. But it means spending 80% of your time on activities that produce revenue, right? That produce impact and service for your business and your company, period. And everything else, like that's not 100% necessary needs to fall off of that calendar, okay? And watch how much time you get back. Watch how much you're not spending time on things that don't actually matter. Watch how your income starts to go up, right? So you have to focus on revenue generating activities. So think about, if you're like, well, Latisse, what are those activities, right? I don't know your business right now, right? I know what it is for the coaches that I work with and the coaches that we work with inside of our containers. And that can be another episode. But the question I pose to you right now, if you're trying to figure out what those activities are, is really look at, the last time that you signed a client, what did you do to get that client? Go do more of that. Okay. So often we get so caught up in shiny object syndrome, this, that, and the third, when we just need to do the things that have already worked. We need to triple down on what has worked so we can triple our income. Okay. So when I think about wrapping this all up, y'all, tripling your income is actually not that far off for you, right? So if you've made 10,000, let's get to 40. If you've made 50, let's get to 200, right? If you made 200, let's get to whatever that is, 800. I don't know. I didn't go to school for math. It doesn't really matter what the number is, but like your goal should be to increase your revenue month after month, year after year, period. Okay. And it comes from deciding, creating a plan, and taking action, and not wavering in any of that ever. You don't get to waver. You don't get to be in a spot where your goals are optional. Your goals are not optional. Your dreams are not optional. So we need to not show up like that inside of our businesses, right? So tripling your income is not so far off. It really is not. Okay, so this has been an absolute game changer for how I show up in my business, how my clients show up, and I hope this really gave you a lot of value today, because I know what increasing my income has done. It's allowed me to invest at higher levels, well over 6 figures into my business. It's allowed me to hire the right team members. It's allowed me to expand, to get more traffic, to reach more people. It's allowed me to buy the right equipment. It's allowed me to give back. It's allowed me to give my team bonuses, right? It's allowed me to do so many things, live a life that I've always wanted. So you as a CEO have to really look at your business and say, hey, the time is right now, okay? It's not tomorrow. It's not next week. It's right now. So I appreciate y'all listening to the podcast today. And it's, if you have been in a spot where you're like, Latisse, I'm ready to do this and I need some support, go to workwithlatisse.com, check out the application. And if you're ready to put some work in, submit it, right? It takes just 2 minutes. Okay. And one of my team members will be in touch with you within 24 to 48 hours. So I absolutely adore all of y'all listening to the podcast. I'm so appreciative. If you found value out of this today, be sure to leave a rating and a review and share the love, right? Because the more that y'all share the love, the more that we can get this podcast in hands of people that need it, and the more that we can spread the impact. And that's what I got for y'all today. Have an amazing day, and I'll talk to y'all in the next one. Hey, if you loved today's episode, I would love if you took a quick second to leave a rating and a review. It truly means the world to me and helps spread the message to coaches just like you who are ready to go to the next level in their business. And if you're ready to start scaling your online coaching business, I want to take the time to invite you to apply. This is our exclusive high-level program for coaches to help you finally scale past those coveted 10K months and create a scalable business model for years to come. Head on over to www.latissehudson.com/apply to submit your application and get all the details. You don't want to miss it.